Can you just give us a sense of the day and what you liked, and it's kind of not really a football game, but tell us what you thought.
Yeah, we tried to create some different competitive situations. We had some one-on-one live tackling, short area, which was good. Some special teams one-on-ones. We had the 4th and 1 drill, which we like because that comes up a lot during the season, and the difference between converting a 4th and 1 on offense or stopping them on defense can win and lose you a game. And then obviously got some scrimmage going, got some red zone work, had a red zone competition. So overall, we wanted to just create some of those competitive situations and see who could finish the plays. It's during practice, you get a false sense sometimes on defense, whether you're thudding up or tagging off. I have them, the whistle blows, but that's not always the case. So we want to see who can finish a play. And on offense, the same thing. If we got to protect the quarterback and now he becomes live, that's a different feel. So officials and all that, we have those guys out here. Just changes the dynamic. So
you held out more guys, it seems like, today than you have in these games in the past. What was the thought behind that?
Game reps that they've banked. The number of game reps. I don't think it's from year to year that's going to be different. Based on the number of game reps those guys have banked, whether they're here. Now, some of the guys we held had high game rep counts from other places, but they're still game reps. So we really wanted to identify some guys that we wanted to put out here in those live situations and see what they would do.
Does that prevent you from having sort of an overall sense of whether the offense and the defense fared better today?
Yeah, the tape will tell. We're looking for good football, good execution. I think a good example is late in the scrimmage here with some of the younger guys getting opportunities, and Nate Ruchina, who's played defense and playing some offense, got in a one-on-one. Belay threw him a great ball, contested play, and he made the play. Those are the things we're looking for. It wasn't wide open. It wasn't a bust by the defense. It was a one-on-one contested play, and Nate came up with it. It was a great play. And the defense had some of those as well.
Did you have sort of a checklist as a staff coming into the spring, what you'd like to accomplish? And if so, how do you feel like you?
Yeah, I think we're making progress, certainly. There's a lot of new players, so getting them familiar with the schemes. I think you saw throughout spring, we felt the growth in knowing what to do, and now it's executing it at a higher level. I think, overall as a team, the ball being a premium, protecting the football and not giving the ball away. We had a couple turnovers today that that's something we can't do. If the defense takes it away, which we did really well last year, we got to do a good job protecting it, on offense. And so that has been a big point of emphasis for us. And I think we've made some growth there, but ultimately the games will tell in the fall.
It seemed that you had a bigger percentage of your class here in the spring than you typically see. Is that a major boost for the upcoming season when you get these guys acclimated earlier?
Yeah. Mid-year helps tremendously when they're here for off-season workouts, winter workouts, spring football, summer workouts. It's just that much more time in the program. Yeah.
Do you have any sense of a timetable for when you'll figure out quarterback once and for all is going to be early in camp or late in camp, or do you?
Listen, I think both those guys have done a really good job this spring. Fernando is a better player now than he was, and that's exactly what we're looking for. His feet and his rhythm has certainly improved. He's a very conscientious guy, extremely hardworking, can throw the ball. Had a really, first play of the scrimmage, I think threw a really good ball to Tron. And I think the next step is, that ball between QB and receiver becomes a complete touchdown, once they win on that route. So he's done a really good job. Chandler's done a really good job as well. They're different styles of player, but both those guys can play. And we just want to, continue to grow those guys and give them reps and opportunities to get better at what they're doing.
There's one or two guys who maybe you didn't quite know about them or weren't quite as high on them 4 weeks ago as you are now. Who would those one or two guys be who kind of opened some eyes?
Yep. I think a name that you've probably heard quite a bit is Nick Morrow, freshman left tackle. He's certainly he's made the most of spring and his opportunities. He's got a really high ceiling. He's still learning, but a guy that I think is going to do a lot of good things for us in the future as he continues to grow as a football player. I think Marcus Harris, transferring from Idaho at corner, has been noticeable, and he's fast. He can stay close to people in coverage, And I think he's another guy. We watch the tape, but until you get out and get a chance to work with him, you really don't know everything. But we got a real good feel for him now, and he can still get better. But I think he's another guy that really was noticeable this spring.
How much activity do you expect there to be coming and going in the transfer portal here in the next days and weeks?
Yeah, there will be activity both ways. And that's just the era we live in college football, and we'll be having meetings with our players next week, post spring evals, what needs to happen moving forward, kind of where everybody's at, and then we evaluate our roster and the needs we have and areas we can improve in the transfer portal.
There was sort of some conversation earlier. I thought maybe offensive line, outside linebacker, maybe even another quarterback. Are those personnel groups that you're? Yeah,
there's really not a position right now other than kicker that we wouldn't evaluate, and if somebody can help our team, then we will be actively recruiting them. But I don't think there's a position that's off limits.
We talked a little bit about interceptions earlier, but Chandler has not had an issue with interceptions for the most part coming in. The spring seems like as spring has worn on, he's been picked a few more times than usual. Is that a concern?
Well, sometimes it's a decision by the quarterback. Maybe it's a route. Maybe it's a tip ball. There are things he can certainly do better, and there's other things that we got to do better around him. Anytime we turn the ball over, it's a concern. Now, to say we're going to go through a season and not turn the ball over, that's never happened. But what we need to do is, make sure we don't have those self-inflicted wounds where we're giving the ball away. Really poor decision at quarterback. Maybe it's loose ball carriage. Maybe it's a bad route. Maybe it's poor protection. Whatever it might be, we got to do a better job of limiting the turnovers, and then the defense has got to continue to take the ball away.
Coach Blesh has talked about giving the receivers the freedom to break off their routes if they see some open ground. Could that create a situation where maybe there's a little bit less timing involved and leaving more room for error?
Yeah, I mean, the decisions you're talking about, those are built into the routes. It's not, we don't call a route and say go out there and do whatever you want. There are certain routes where they have the opportunity to run a vertical or stop, but that decision has to be made at a certain depth so the quarterbacks can throw the ball on rhythm. So that's all a matter of practice and time with the receivers. I think the QBs and receivers, they got to be one and the same throughout the rest of spring workouts and summer workouts, and as they get their player run stuff going and throwing the ball together, because creating that chemistry between quarterback and receivers is very, very important. And we've seen it improve throughout the spring, but it's still got to get better.
Is Justin Williams-Thomas okay?
I haven't got a report yet. He was up moving around, and so that's encouraging, but I haven't got a report.
This is the 8th time you've been the head coach for spring ball in this town, right?
Yeah. How about that?
I would sort of liken spring ball maybe to a pitcher in Major League Baseball warming up on the sideline. Sometimes if he's got his great stuff warming up, he takes it onto the mound, and sometimes it kind of is reversed. You've been through this now 8 times. Do you have as much confidence going into this season as you did in the previous 7? Last?
Yeah,
how do you compare?
Yeah, I got you. Well, I've been through more spring balls than 8.
As a head coach.
Yeah, as a head coach, here's what I would say. I am really excited about the team speed that we've added. We are not a finished product. We still need to continue to develop certain positions where we feel better about our depth. But I do really like the speed that we've added. I think our team's gotten bigger, and I really like the work ethic of the group. I mean, there's some really strong veteran leaders on this team, and that's why I think even with 20 to 25 newcomers in the winter, this team has come together rather quickly because of the veteran leadership that exists in the building, and that's critical. Because if everybody was brand new and you don't have strong leadership, you can. It takes some time to create some team chemistry. But I think the veterans on this team, or even the guy David Reese, for example, he's a veteran. He's been around college football. He's only been here a year, but he's done an exceptional job of helping bringing the team together. And in this era of college football, having guys like that is critically important.
How much does the unknown of going to the ACC sort of change your offseason in terms of how you might try to scout
Yeah, we're going to do our off-season scouting like we always have. Do we know them the same as we know some of our former Pac-12 foes? Yeah, probably not. But at the end of the day, you're going to use the tape as a resource. You're going to prepare for what they've done. Teams change year to year. We're changing. We're not going to look like we looked last year, schematically or personnel-wise, and neither are the teams we're playing. So
things are changing even more and faster than they ever have.
Absolutely.
Does that minimize the difference to some degree?
Yeah, probably, because the personnel changes are so drastic. Yeah, and there's going to be coaches that have a fingerprint, just like we do, but there's always the year-to-year adjustments that happen, and that's across college football. So ultimately, we got to go out and become as good as we can be as fast as we can. I mean, that's what we're aiming to do.
So you're playing at the end of September is not your next priority?
No, we're just trying to get better at football across the board.
Justin, you've seen the battles with the running backs to back up Jay Nutt. How have you seen those battles come to fruition, and what are you looking for?
I think we're deeper talent-wise than we've been since I've been here at that position. Could I sit here and tell you, well, who's the pecking order of 2 through 5 or 6? I couldn't. I think today, I thought that was good to see Kadarius make a couple runs, Justin Williams-Thomas, Cardwell had a couple late, the Jet, DTC. I mean, it seems like each guy, and that's what I'm anxious to see those guys in live situations, because the running backs, you can evaluate them in thud and you evaluate them in 7-on-7. At the end of the day, the true evaluation comes when it's live. What happens? Can you break the tackle? Can you make the guy miss? And can you protect when you're asked to protect? Can you catch the ball? So it's good to see those guys. We're going to need to see more of that because there's still a bit of unknown there.
And then last one, you've also seen a lot of the defensive linemen rotate a smorgasbord of new faces. Have you seen the younger guys find their fits?
Yeah, I think we're a work in progress there. We've had some injuries, unfortunately, that have limited us. Our numbers, we have numbers at that position. We got to get healthy, and we got to get those guys practice reps and game reps. I think Aiden, coming in has done a really good job. I think Aiden's going to help us, but again, a little bit like the running back situation, there's a lot of unknowns there, either due to injury or lack of playing experience.
What were a couple of standout moments from today?
The first deep ball, Fernando Detron. The offense put a couple drives together. It was nice to see. Great individual efforts on defense. Cam Sidney showed up. Day, freshman safety showed up. I thought the running backs had some good moments. So, it was good in terms of getting some evaluations on live reps from guys that haven't had a whole lot of those.